think that's it, right? There are some people out there who might not have a great experience or not great returns investing in real estate. And usually when you look at it, it's really because they're not following good business practices or not taking good advantage of the tools that are available. But video is one of those tools where if you start using that, you'll have no trouble selling your properties and selling them quick and at a good price too.
You're tuned in to Boardwalk Talks with Monopoly Group Toronto, where we give you the latest news, tips, and tricks all about real estate investing so that you too can climb the property ladder. Visit us at torontomonopoly.ca. All right, well, guys, let's get started. So today we have Jonathan from BombBomb, I guess, really, right? So they're an awesome video provider, which you're going to see some of our messages to you and communication to you through video. As the expert for video, he's going to be talking about it today about how to use video for building your business. And in our instance, for the people watching this, it's about, for us, it's real estate and video to really boost your business for selling your home.
Yeah, that's basically that's it for this conversation. I could talk all day long about all the ways to use video, but this is definitely going to be about using it to sell a property, because there's so many properties for sale right now. As someone interested in buying or investing in a property, you got to comb through a lot. So the idea of this is using video to make your property stand out, to make it sell faster and get a better asking price.
Awesome. So why don't we get started?
Cool. Well, so I think one of the first things that we might want to talk about for those listeners who maybe haven't been using video in the business before is just kind of talking about the general power of video these days. Because I don't know how it is for you, Ken, but I know I myself am much more likely to watch a video than I am to read out some text, right? I think this morning I was flicking through my LinkedIn profile and I probably stopped to watch 3 videos, and I don't think I read any articles or anything, you know? What's your experience been in that area?
Yeah, video is great. I mean, we try to do it from all angles. You might be listening to this podcast through iTunes or Google or whatever it might be. You might be in your car driving. And that's the issue I find nowadays with today's attention span. Not everyone likes to watch video because everyone's multitasking, right? But I think video creates trust, creates it tells a story a lot better with visuals. You know, they always say a picture sells 1,000 words, right? So imagine 60 frames a second of that, right? So
yeah, right. Absolutely. Well, and it's just with people's short attention span, it seems like anything that they really have to like read or take some effort to look into is less likely, you know? So when it comes to, putting a batch of photos on Facebook and say, hey, check out my listing, the details are written below. That's not interesting. That's not appealing. I'm not going to take the time to do that. But when I see this interesting video pulled up there, that's more likely to get the attention. And again, this conversation go all sorts of different directions, different parts of the business. But I think in general, across all the businesses, what we've noticed and really what kind of the world is starting to realize is that people are just more likely to engage with videos. I think, the statistics are right. I think 72% of people, when they were tested were clicking on videos and ignoring text. I think I was looking at an article a little while ago talking about the effect of video, and 76% of businesses who started using video marketing reported an increase in traffic. And what's crazy about that number to me is that included the businesses who are doing it well and the businesses who are doing it poorly. Because let's be real here, video is something you can do well or you can do poorly. And to get 76% of people to report a benefit, even including the ones who aren't doing a good job with it, that's just incredible to me, I think.
Awesome.
What are some areas, too? I know we're talking about listings here. Have you guys done any videos yourself in the world of listings?
Yeah, of course. I mean, we try to do a video for every single listing that we have, just to create a compelling story when there is a story, right? So everything has a story to it. So that we definitely use video a lot. It is time consuming to produce, and not everything will have a story. But when there is a story, we really push it out using video.
Yeah. Definitely. Well, I know that I watched a couple of the videos that you had done as listing videos just this morning, and I was really kind of interested by a lot of what you did in those videos. So if you wouldn't mind, kind of explain to people what it is that you guys do in those listing videos, the types of photography you're using, and really how you're even putting those things together anyways.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, right now they've been self-produced, which is very time-consuming, as you know. We will be outsourcing that to either hiring somebody or getting somebody to build it. But the goal is to create a compelling story, right? So we tell a little about the property, why somebody should be interested in the first place, right? Because nowadays attention span is very low, and I mean we have so many things screaming at us from all different angles. So yeah, I mean essentially that's all it is, just creating, telling a story, compelling story about the property itself, or maybe even some tips or tricks about investing in real estate. That's another niche that we've been really working on.
Yeah. Well, and if I remember right too, at least one of the videos had drone footage in it of the city itself. Where did you get that drone footage? Did you hire someone, or is that stock footage of Toronto?
Yes, I mean we have licensed drone photographers, maybe,
All
maybe
right, all
not.
right.
So we
Don't
can
want
skip
to
over
reveal your
that.
secrets. Don't want to reveal your secrets here. All right. Well, that's
Yeah,
awesome. Well, no matter how you got it, I absolutely love the drone footage. And something else you did, which I think really helped when you're talking about putting together that holistic story for people, is you had the drone footage of Toronto pulled up, and you actually were able to add layers on top of that, highlighting what they were actually looking at, because people might not know from the air what's a shopping mall and what's a development area. And that's something that I thought was great, because it helps people put together the whole picture of what it would be like to live in this condo here, what it would be like to live in this property. So I love
Well,
that.
essentially, yeah. I mean, location is everything, right? Number one rule in real estate. So, your proximity to amenities. Not only if you're talking about condos, there's amenities in the building, but the amenities for location is another thing too, right? So your proximity to transit, or and all that.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I also liked too how a lot of videos that I see that are getting really good results for these is they're not they're not just so focused on covering all the facts and data. They're trying to make the video more interesting, right? And of course, one way to do that is just what shots you choose to be your intro. A lot of people don't think about that, but I've seen a lot of listing videos where the introduction is just the front door of the house or something, or something like that, and that's just not that interesting. I think a lot of your videos are actually starting off in something more interesting, starting off on the back patio, starting off maybe with an aerial shot of the hot tub and the patio area in the condo. And I think that's so important to realize that your job is to capture people's attention, and the way you start the video is huge. So that was something that I've seen be a big differentiator between a well-done video and a poorly done video.
Well, thank you very much for that. I mean, I do appreciate it. We do put a lot of thought, even to the order and pictures that we list, when we sell properties, right? Like, I don't try to do the general building picture on the outside, or even the house on the outside first, unless it's very compelling, whatever the money shot is, right? Because that's
it.
Stand out over thousands of other properties out there, and even listing videos. We're not new at creating listing videos. We've been doing it for a long time, but definitely not new at it. So, I mean, essentially that's what it is. Just creating a compelling story.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to go over now. I did, in preparation for this, I kind of reached out to some of my clients who are really killing it with using videos to sell properties, and asked them what they're doing to make their videos more interesting. And I got a lot of different answers, so I'm going to kind of run through these a little bit and share them with you guys. But
that's excellent. Yeah, you're a pro. I mean, you work with realtors a lot, first of all. So I just want to, I don't know if anybody knows your story or not, but for the listeners out there, you do work with realtors, so you get to see what everyone's doing, and especially with video. So I'd love to hear more about this.
Yeah. One of the things that a lot of my top clients are doing is they're mixing it up a little bit. And the way they're mixing it up is, rather than just having one single really professional, high quality video produced, and that's all they use to market the home, they actually have that video, but alongside it, to support it, they have simpler, smaller, shorter, more raw videos as well. I think one of my clients is a big fan of using Facebook Live to advertise, a property, to do a quick walkthrough, to walk up to it, or something of that nature. Heck, I even was thinking about your situation, right? I know traffic in Toronto can be ghastly sometimes. That's the reason a lot of people go for these downtown living spaces. So heck, why not, alongside your video that's produced, maybe if you're on the way to go take that video, do that production value shot, do a quick Facebook Live in your car of yourself stuck in traffic, talk about Toronto's traffic. That'll get views. And you tell them, hey, listen, look forward to a production style video coming out with this new listing, in a week or so. But for now, I just want to keep you up with what I'm doing lately, sitting here in traffic, probably like a lot of you guys are doing. But just find a way to mix it up. It doesn't all have to be production value. Sometimes you can just get real and authentic with people and do something simple. And that is equally as effective as that listing video is that was more professionally produced.
That's a great idea. I mean, we want to be sure that we're pulled over on the side of the road, not in traffic driving, or have somebody driving, right? Because that is one thing that people are concerned about as well too. Right?
Oh yeah.
Idea that we're driving around unsafely on the roads.
Yeah, no, certainly not that. But if you're in deadlock traffic where you're totally stopped, maybe then. Or if you got a passenger, right? If two of you are going, maybe the passenger records the video.
Right. Or we pull over. So
yeah, or pull over. The other thing I'm thinking of too, when it comes to that variety, is one agent I work with down in Florida. She likes to actually bring people into the home to do a bit of an interview, because her idea is she wants to get this in front of as many eyeballs as possible, not just people who are looking to buy a home of that description. So she tries to put a little something in the video that would appeal to a wider audience. So a lot of times she'll interview someone and talk to them in the home. So it's almost like the home becomes the backdrop, but the focal point is that interview. So I know one time she interviewed the guy who did her drone photography, and she talked about drone videos, and she talked about his business and, you know, how he got started and the types of clients he worked with. So anybody who thought drone, you know, photography was kind of cool might watch that video. But of course, while they're talking, they're showing, you know, aerial shots of that actual property. And of course, they're sitting in the kitchen of that home. So that wasn't her sole marketing piece, but that went alongside to support the more professional quality video that she had done. I'm thinking one of the times she had like an architect come in to talk about, you know, the architecture in that particular neighborhood, and of course showcase the architecture in that particular part of the house. So again, architecture buffs and nerds got value out of that. So there's a lot of things you can do to draw attention to the property without being so blatantly obvious about, here, take a look at this property here, to provide more value other than that. Any situations you can think of maybe that would work for you in the Toronto market? Any people you could bring in and interview about anything that's happening in the city or something? Putting you on the spot here. I don't know if, if you can.
No, well, it's a great idea, and I essentially that's why I'm interviewing you today, or more like interviewing me, or either way around, we're interviewing each other about how to use video for selling something, right?
Yeah. Well, what about, so heck, I'm just thinking out loud here. I hope not spitting out bad ideas, but what if, I know there's a lot of development happening in the Toronto area. What if you had someone, whether he's someone who worked for the city or someone who worked for a developer, do a quick interview kind of explaining what their vision was for this new part of town, you know, that's nearby where this is or something, you know, again, just one way or another, find someone to interview, find some value you can add outside of just take a look at this piece of property.
That is a great idea, actually, Jonathan. That's a great idea. We got we know some city
Perfect. No, we could probably go to like the Google sidewalk slabs, like they're
okay.
So yeah, people want to know about that. And I also actually have a city planner. It's my neighbor who's I don't know if he's watching this or not, but definitely we're gonna be interviewing you. So
perfect. All right. Well, hey, fantastic. That's always a little bit risky right here when we're on air here, throwing out ideas. I'm glad that was a good one.
No, I love it.
I'm trying to think what else. Just kind of along that note too, try to do just something that's a little bit unique. If you're trying to market a property, you don't want your video to look like everyone else's. One of my clients went so far as she's on in a coastal city in the tropics, I think southeastern United States is where she's at. But everyone has pools, it seems. Every property she lists has a pool. And she noticed that. So she actually hires a mermaid model, like an actual person in a mermaid modeling costume, to go swim in the pool while she's doing the listing video. And it just gets people's attention. People aren't used to seeing a mermaid swimming around a pool. And they'll watch it just for that sometimes. So again, it's all about trying to find ways to make this video about more than just look at this awesome piece of property. Trying to find something interesting or engaging for them to look at. I think the other thing that I was going to mention here kind of comes into what we were mentioning earlier, right? There's more to a property than the property itself. The neighborhood, the amenities are important. And what you can do to try to highlight that is you can actually get residents of that community might be willing to be part of a quick little interview for you. Hey, we're interviewing this house or this condo here. How long have you lived in this neighborhood? Oh, wow. Would you mind kind of be on camera talking to us about what you like about this neighborhood? You could go down to the gym of a condo and talk about how great the gym is. You could go someone walking their dog in a community, talking to them about how great a community it is. But one way or another, you're trying to get people's minds out of thinking of this is just a house, because it's more than just a house. When you purchase a piece of real estate, you're not just purchasing brick and mortar and walls. You're purchasing an experience. You're purchasing a lifestyle. And that is something that's really a big thing that my clients do in their videos. And I think even you do this on some of yours, right? Where you don't just look at the condo itself, you do take the time to highlight the neighborhood around it. So one way or another, you got to take your attention, zoom out from the property and look at everything else it's nestled amongst and try to paint that more holistic picture for people of why they would want to buy this property.
I love that idea. Love it. Absolutely love it. Instead of us telling it all the time, it's good to have somebody else kind of mention it, people living in the community and all that. So I like it.
Yeah. And even then, I mean, depending on what you get, right, you could almost make that the focus of why to watch the video, make the subject of your video, find out 3 reasons residents of this neighborhood love living here. That is something they would watch just because they're curious. And in the process, they're watching your listing video. But it's all about giving people more reasons to watch your video other than just they want to buy a piece of real estate that matches your description. It's got to be more than that.
Okay.
And the other thing too, and I guess this doesn't, I know a lot of people listen to this are investors, and this might not. Well, actually, I take the back. I was about to say this wouldn't apply as much to investors, but you know what? If you're buying homes and selling them for a profit, then this absolutely would, because anyone who's trying to sell a property for any reason could benefit from this. And that is just taking what we talked about a step further. So we know that a home is more than just a structure. It's more than just a piece of walls and of concrete. The home is an experience. And I think the very best listing videos do a lot to highlight that. Another example, right? A woman in California, I watched one of her listing videos, and the particular home was in a high-end area, really geared towards people a little more affluent. In particular, it was geared towards people who were active in the social life and the social scene. So she really highlighted how great a house this was for entertaining. And the way she did that is she went out and sat in the back kind of patio area with the hot tubs and in the garden and all that. And she sat there drinking like a margarita or something like that, talking about, can you imagine how great this would be for entertaining? Any weather, it's going to be great. Your guests are going to love it. You're going to love it. And she helped paint that picture by sitting there drinking a cocktail better than she ever could have by listing something, in her description of it. I think that same agent, that same woman, she actually, on one of the homes she was listing, she interviewed the owner and said, hey, listen, talk to me about why it was awesome living in this place. What's your favorite room of the house? What are you going to miss most about this house when you leave? And just got their input on it as well. So trying to get a diversity of perspectives, but really get real human beings and real people involved. Because in any version of selling you're doing, right, whether you're me selling BombBomb or whether you're selling real estate, the slogan they always teach you, right, is facts tell, but stories sell. So if you're just going to show a bunch of photographs, lift a price in square footage, that's just facts. But if you really want to sell it, you want to give them that story of the past owner. Or let's say you bought a rundown piece of property and you renovated it. You might be telling the story of the next owner and what they're going to get to experience going forward. But one way or another, you want to step outside of just focusing so much on the property itself.
Love it. Love it.
I think go ahead.
No, I was just about to say we got to find the story and every listing, and essentially that's what we have to do. Just tell the story based on the history of it. So
yeah,
and the community.
Well, I think that's the real value, of working with a realtor. Even is that the average Joe who's just investing, or the average Joe who's just trying to sell his home, doesn't necessarily know the best way to find that story, pull it out, and market it in an easy way. If I'm thinking about my home, there's way too many memories tied up in here for me to really know exactly what story is going to be the most relevant, what story will be the most valuable. And that's what I think my best performing realtor clients are doing, is they can step into a property, ask the owner some questions, and say, you know what, I know what story will tell this home's appeal best. And they're so good at that because they're an outside perspective of really knowing what's going to get people's attention most. So yeah, for example, sometimes it's going to be looking at the man cave in the basement, talking about that. Sometimes it's going to be showcasing the nice wooded area, the wooded lot, or the nice walks that there are to walk your dog. But a lot of times my realtor clients who's the best are the ones who are best at finding those stories, sniffing out those stories, and using them to market the property.
Sure.
Because ultimately, at the end of the day, right, what you're trying to do with this video is you're trying to give the viewer something Google can't give them. If they can learn everything about that property just by Googling it, why would they bother watching your video? Why would they bother working through you? And really, why would any a seller use that agent? And I think ultimately that's what's going to separate the property you're trying to market from a property that's similar to it across town. Because the one that's similar to it across town, there's just pretty basic facts listed out in a video, basic videos. Right, we talked about the difference between a good video and a bad video. I think the best videos get outside of look at the property, and the best videos really start honing in on the matter of let's tell this story together, and let's figure out what it'd be like owning this. And that's what does it. That's what makes a home sell fast.
Yeah, not only selling the properties, but we're also using video to create stories on how to, like a little mini investment seminar series, I guess you could say, right? So we wrote a book recently, and each of those chapters we're making into a video to basically explain how the process could be easy for you to make passive income and retire off of real estate, right? So,
yeah.
Books out here, right? And then we're just going to go through and explain how that works.
Yeah, no, you're right about that.
There's different ways that people consume content, right? It's, some people are audio, some people are visual, some people learn from, I don't know what the different ways were, but there's like different factors that people learn.
Oh yeah.
Kind of but you remember that thing, right?
Oh yeah. Yeah, we focus on that a lot, and a lot of the work that I do, trying to figure out, yeah, do people prefer to communicate with the world through, I think it's like audio, visual, or like tactile, more of a feeling type of a thing. But yeah, you're totally
Right.
right.
Right, right. So, I mean, we basically exist as a team to make people understand that you can use this. This is the best. There's no other vehicle in the world that's better than real estate, in my opinion. Right, based on this, the 4 different ways to make money in real estate, all the 9 different methods that we talk about as well too.
Yeah.
So, it's compelling
Yeah.
stuff.
For real. And again, especially if you're going about it in a way that is making the best use of current technology and marketing. Because I think that's it, right? There are some people out there who might not have a great experience or not great returns investing in real estate. And usually when you look at it, it's really because they're not following good business practices or not taking good advantage of the tools that are available. But video is one of those tools where if you start using that, you'll have no trouble selling your properties and selling them quick and at a good price too. Because again, once you attach that emotion to it, once someone feels that connection and say, I want to live that lifestyle that property offers me, they'll be willing to pay, more than the property across town that's, 20 grand cheaper. Things will sell quicker and for a much higher rate. And that's the huge thing in real estate investing, right? Is not having this property in your hands for a long time. So I think effective video is just a huge, huge key to that. If you're still trying to market these properties like it was 1990, you're not going to have a good time of it, even in a market like Toronto.
Well, Jonathan, I mean, if you talk about technology and all that, right? The technology has come a long way. I don't even know where in the States you're at, but
Colorado right now.
Okay, so Colorado. I feel like I already know you just through video. I've never actually met you in real life. So that's essentially the whole effect of what you guys do, right? So
yeah,
love
absolutely.
It.
Yeah, BombBomb's our slogan or our core values are trying to rehumanize the planet, trying to rehumanize communication. Because the last couple of decades, we've taken a big step back from face-to-face business, and it's just turned into this impersonal, faceless type of business conduction. And we don't like that at BombBomb. We don't like that at all. And those people are willing to embrace video and step forward and get back to a more personal face-to-face communication. Yeah, they really benefit in their business. And I think the more time goes by, the more you're going to see this video thing starting to grow. I think supposedly by the year 2019, so pretty much now, like 80% of all internet traffic is going to be video based. And yeah, a lot of that's Netflix and Amazon, but a lot of that too is, like we talked about, flipping through your LinkedIn profile, you're watching more videos than you're reading articles. It's going to start to become the type of thing whereas video and email becomes more popular too. People aren't going to bother checking their text-based emails anymore, but they'll go ahead and check out their video emails. And that's what BombBomb's whole mission is to rehumanize the planet in that way.
So basically, you guys do video emails and video communication. So we talked about 2 different things, right? The first part of this interview was really about creating stories, compelling stories through video, which is great, creating the content. But the second part is really the delivery of these messages, right? So if we deliver it through, pardon me?
No, you're right about that.
Yeah. So I guess the second part is how to deliver a message. And I think one-on-one communication through video, like we're doing right now, and just so happen to be recording this on video and transcribing the audio and then putting into for the people that are driving and listening to something in their car. So yeah, it's great. So can you tell us a little more about the experiences that you've had from some of your clients, some of your customers, and their experiences with sending video messages out to people and how that's effective in reaching people?
It's one of those things that, like, as soon as you start doing it, you start noticing a difference. Because what happens now in any variety of a sales environment is you're sending out email after email, even voicemail after voicemail, and your competitors are doing the same thing too. And there's also a whole bunch of other crap just filling out an inbox. And typically those emails don't get read. If they open them, they just skim through it and move right along. When you start sending someone a video and they're straight up, and the way BombBomb delivers is actually like a little animated preview with a little timestamp saying, hey, this is a 30-second video, sitting right there in their inbox. That gets people's attention the way nothing else does. And then when they play your video, suddenly you become a real human being to them. Because right now, if you send a prospecting email, whether it's trying to sell a product or selling a service or selling real estate, people just blow right by it. You're just nothing but words on a screen to them. But the moment they see your face and you're just speaking to them saying, hey, listen, I'd love to get a chance to talk to you about XYZ. You might be able to help you. Let's chat. Suddenly you're a human being. And the idea of taking a phone call from a human being doesn't seem that difficult. But when it's just, you're nothing but a salesperson, a faceless salesperson, they don't want to talk to you. So it's just crazy. My clients, that's overall, right? Of all the industries I work with, from automotive to real estate to insurance sales, heck, even nonprofit organizations, they notice when they're sending emails out, they're actually getting replies and responses back, and they're actually building relationships where in the past they used to just send stuff out there and just fall upon deaf ears. So I think that differentiator factor is huge because it's unique, right? And people like things that are new and different. but that human touch is so important too. Because as salespeople, we're best when we're face to face, right? It's hard to get face to face sometimes. So the video, I think, fills in that gap wonderfully to get you to that point where they have that face to face relationship.
Right. And, even if you're not doing sales and it's just communication with somebody face to face, even when you hang out with people, like you don't hang out with people online. I mean, we do nowadays, right? With the advent of, Facebook and social media and all that. Right. So
yeah,
to be able to connect with somebody one-on-one.
Yeah, I don't know about you, Ken, but I certainly have pissed off quite a few people with my typed out emails and text messages when I didn't mean to. It's just there's so much communication that happens, over tone and body language and pace. And sometimes when that's missing in a typed out email, miscommunications happen, whether you're offending someone or whether maybe they just don't understand the urgency of a situation. I've had plenty of issues, in my personal life and work life that were caused by the miscommunication of using emails, where if you'd just been face to face, you could have cleared it up in no time at all. So yeah, we always focus on salespeople, right, when we're talking about BombBomb. But really, the more time goes by, the more other industries and other people are starting to realize, heck, I could benefit from this. Just because if you want to communicate effectively, in person is the best way to do it. And when you can't do in person, well, a video of yourself helps kind of scale you a little bit better.
That's amazing. So I love that, actually. So I guess the third thing that we just talked about, right? So first of all, it's storytelling. Then number two, I guess, would be the technology delivery, the convenience of, jumping. For me, it's like I'm sitting across the table from you right now in Colorado, although we're in Toronto, Canada. And then number three, I guess, is really getting the effective communication, all the nuances that you see in video and talking to somebody face to face and seeing, looking them straight in the eye, I guess you could say, right?
Yeah,
so,
I don't know the numbers off the top of my head, but I think the research that's been done shows that human communication, less than 10% of real communication happens over actual words. About like 40% of our communication happens over audible cues, such as tone and pace and pitch. And about half of all human message delivery is happening over visual cues, such as my facial expressions, such as my gesture, my body language. That is really what carries the message of your intent and your meaning. And if you strip that out of it, it's really hard to communicate. Whether you're trying to sell something or just trying to run an organization smoothly, it's really hard to communicate when you strip 90% of your communication assets away and you're left with nothing but just the words.
That's so true. That's so true. I mean, we always talk about, if you already kind of eliminate the what to say in a conversation, really most of it is exactly your body language, your tone, your voice, and all that. So I don't remember the numbers either, but it was significant. It was huge based on the research. Awesome. Okay. Well, I guess the whole theme of this really was using video to promote not your business, but more like push forward your whatever you're trying to push forward, right? So communicate, really, for effective communication. So what else can we talk about?
Yeah, I think for this purpose of this conversation, that was the focus, right? We talked about the distribution methods. BombBomb's a great way for email. Of course, you don't need BombBomb to put a video up on YouTube. But yeah, I think video.
The benefit I like of what you guys do is that it kind of, if somebody watching YouTube, you're kind of stuck in that world, right? Whereas with BombBomb, you can do a quick delivery. You have a forum for somebody to reply back. So for those of you guys listening, any of our clients, we'll be sending you video messages. It just so happens to be using the system called BombBomb, and you can reply to it at the bottom of it, and we get notification when you reply. So then you can reply back with video even if you want to, which is super awesome. So I love it.
Yeah. Definitely. Yeah, that's the one downside of YouTube, right? They watch your video and then they're on to watching cat videos or who knows what they're watching next. That's not always
so
what
you remember. I don't remember how old you are. I don't know how old you are, Jonathan, but I don't know if you remember back in the day, we used to have these microphone things, these TELUS mics, I guess you could say. So you press a button, it's like a walkie-talkie, right? Or a glorified walkie-talkie over cellular service. You do a walkie-talkie, send a message, a 30-second message, whatever it might be. Wait for the reply, and then you get that back. So that's essentially what I look at your tool for, and it's super effective because there's no longer the nuances that you're missing out on email, right?
Yeah, that's true. I never thought about that, but you're right. This is the video version of those.
Of a walkie-talkie, right? Yeah.
Yeah, really. Just quick video yourself, send it to them. They watch it when they get a chance, and they shoot you back a video back if they want, or a typed out message if they want. Yeah. That's right.
I love it. Yeah. And it's better because, the video conferencing tools that we have right now that are available to us, it's hard to get somebody's time. I mean, even rushing to this video, I was almost late, right? So it's hard to get everybody sitting down in one spot together. So it's kind of nice to have that back and forth like a walkie-talkie.
Yeah. Yeah. No, you're right about that. It's awesome. I know I've been doing sales jobs for a long time now, and now that I've used video to communicate, I cannot imagine how I ever sold anything without it. How I ever got replies to my emails, how I ever built relationships with customers. Like it's crazy. It's one of those things. Once you take a step forward into that world, you can't go back, right? It's like, when you first got a cell phone, you didn't think you needed it, and now you can't imagine life without it. Same thing with video communication. Once you start communicating in this way and selling your products, selling your properties, selling yourself this way, it just seems silly to go back to trying to use a typed out email to do the same job, or typed out.
Essentially,
anything.
let's face it, anything you do is sales, right? Whether you're sending a message to somebody, like look at the last few messages, text messages you sent to people, right? I mean, whether it's let's go to dinner here, or let's go to dinner here, or let's meet for coffee here, right? Just for whatever reason, personal, that's also selling as well too. So I guess selling is communication. Communication is video.
Yeah, no, for real. I've known plenty of people, who were in management positions who said their jobs was sales, just selling ideas, selling initiatives, selling behaviors that they want to see adopted. Typically, if you want someone to adopt your idea and your way of seeing things, you're selling something. Right, so that's where the communication is important, and that's where it's hard to communicate without something like a face-to-face interaction. Or
even aligning thoughts, going back and forth and making sure you're on the same page, because my view could be swayed from, talking to you over video, and then and same way, right? So I guess I want to switch it up a little bit and ask a question. What are the downsides of using video? I mean, it would require somebody's full attention, right? That's I guess why video communication isn't always effective.
Yeah, so there are some situations where you might not be in a place where taking a video is appropriate or available to you. If it's noisy or a public place, your recipient occasionally will be in a really loud, noisy place where it's not appropriate to watch a video, or maybe they're in a really quiet place like a library and they can't watch your video. So there are some downsides. I've always coached my clients too. We talked about body language, right, and how important that is. Sincerity comes across really clearly in a video email. So we tell them, hey, if you want to appear sincere, use a video email. The flip side of that, though, is if you're insincere, don't use a video. They'll sniff that out right away. If you're delivering a fake apology, don't do that. If you're BSing someone, don't use a video. They'll know. So that is a two-edged sword when that sincerity comes across. The insincerity also comes across.
Love it. Well, thank God we wear hard in our sleeves and we tell everything. We just come from the bottom of our heart. So, actually that goes to say, I was telling somebody the other day about this abundance, right? The reason why I'm not afraid of holding anything back is because I love giving away this information, because I'm forced to learn more. Right? It's like the abundant mentality where if you just give away, people consume this and they try to copy you, and you have to differentiate yourself doing something else. You're forced to learn something else, to stand up from the crowd.
Oh, yeah. No, that's absolutely huge. One of the things that I found in my own selling is that the more I learn about the world of real estate, even outside of what BombBomb does, the more value I can provide my clients, the more likely we are to do business. A lot of the email communication that I send out to my clients, whether I'm prospecting them or whether I'm trying to get referrals, a lot of it is coming from a place of providing value to them. Because, if you think of a traditional marketing or sales model, what happens a lot of times is you promise future value. Hey, in your business, right, use me as a realtor, it'll be worth your while. In my business, hey, try out my product, it'll be worth your while. Some people come to my restaurant, you'll love your meal. It's all promising future value if they do what you want them to do. But it's very rare for marketers and salespeople to take that first step and just give a piece of value. Just give it away free. Here you go. And if you want more, there's more where that came from. And when you start shifting that mentality and say, before I ask for anything from you, I'm going to give something to you, that's absolutely huge. That's one of the big things I coach my clients on, is you can use video tremendously effectively or ineffectively, like I mentioned. And one of the most effective ways to use video is to be educating and providing value to people. Because then not only you're doing that, but you're doing it in a way that's making them feel personally connected to you because they got to see you and feel like they know, like, and trust you. So yeah, if there's any marketers out there or salespeople out there, one takeaway from this is not only do it differently by doing it with a video, but make sure your messaging is actually designed to provide value to the recipients. Give something before you try to get something.
Absolutely. And something I've learned from being in this business for a while is that you got to come from contribution. You always got to keep giving away first, and then it'll just come back naturally without expecting a return, but just keep giving, and it'll just come back. So
yeah. That is a common theme with all my clients that I work with who are really killing it. You're right about that.
Mm-hmm. Well, awesome. Do you got any more tips about videos for us, Jonathan, now that we've kind of gone through pretty much everything? I don't know if you had anything else on your notes that you were going to send us.
Not a ton. When it comes to just basic uses of video, you got to keep in mind there's two types of video. A lot of our conversation today was focused on marketing style videos, things that are really produced, well put together, and sent out to the masses. That was a thrust of this conversation, but kind of where BombBomb comes in is the other way to use video is just for simple relationship building. And that's kind of what our second half of our conversation was. When you're introducing yourself to a new client, when you're checking in on a client, when you're apologizing for a mistake you made, when you're checking with a coworker to make sure you're both on the same page, those are one-to-one simple sends. So a lot of people think about the world of video marketing and think they have to have a videographer. They think they have to have $1,000 camera and a production team, and they have to dedicate hours per week to putting this stuff together. And it doesn't have to be that way. If you want to start small, you can just do simple one-to-one videos between you and an individual and start there. Once you get more comfortable with that, maybe start stepping it up to production level stuff. But there's no reason to not start with video in one capacity or another.
Okay, that's amazing. So any of our clients or investors out there, if you want to talk to us, we'd love to talk through video. So that's great. So Jonathan, thanks for everything today. That was a great chat. Jonathan Wong, you got any comments, questions, anything to ask Jonathan?
Well, that was very enlightening. There's a lot of meaningful information passed on there. Like for me, I know I didn't really get to say much in this conversation. I was just absorbing it all in. But watching you two go back and forth, that was pretty awesome. Thank you.
Cool. Well, if anybody who listens to this podcast wants to look into BombBomb a bit more, it's pretty simple, bombbomb.com. That's BOMB.com. You can start a free trial there pretty easily. And if you just mention in the free trial that you heard it through this podcast, they'll make sure they route you to me, and I'll actually be the success coach who works with you to help get you onboarded, show you the ropes. That way you can be as successful as possible during the trial. And if you decide to continue beyond that, I'll even work with you beyond that to make sure you're successful when you're a paid user too.
Okay, so for anybody watching this video, yeah, exactly. So go to bombbomb.com/ I don't know, what do we do? Is there a code?
So if they do /tryitfree, that'll start the free trial. And trust me, our business development reps will be very quick about calling you to schedule a coaching session. And you can just mention, hey, I heard this on this podcast. I want to work with Jonathan. And they'll go, oh, yep, I know. He told us about that. And they'll make sure they set an appointment on my calendar for sometime next week so we can talk about ways you would or maybe wouldn't adopt video to your own business.
Okay, so we're the Toronto Monopoly Group. The Boardwalk Talks is our podcast name, as you guys know, if you're watching. So that's great. I really appreciate your time, Jonathan. And I'm actually glad you're our success coach. We're looking forward to implementing all your systems that you do to basically get whatever you did to get me as a client. We're looking to do the same to build our business in 2019 and just really effectively communicate and send our message out there. So,
I'm looking forward to working with you guys. I can tell already you're going to do really well with this.
Thank you so much.
If you like what you just watched, don't forget to click to subscribe. We're on Apple, iTunes, and YouTube as well. And visit us at www.torontomonopoly.ca. Thanks for watching.